Hello everyone and welcome back to your Dance Teacher Potential. Today we're going to talk about something that you are going to have to do in your classrooms, which is choreographing. So because we are dance teachers, we're going to be encountering performances. And so at your dance studio, they're going to ask you to choreograph something, most likely, not everybody, for your students. And today we're going to focus on how to choreograph effectively for little ones because they can be tricky, but it can be super fun.
So when you start off and you're choosing music, you need to be very particular with what you are choosing. You need things that are easily heard, like the rhythm and the beats need to be like so simplified that a 3-year-old can pick up onto it and repeat it back to you, right?
Yes, exactly. I think it's very important actually that the contrast in the music is very clear so that the little ones are not lost within that music, and very important that you listen to the entire song. So it's important that you find a song that's clear for them to listen, so it's not complicated musically for them to follow, but that you listen to the entire thing, because it would be super exciting to watch your students go from you know, but if the song stayed with the same beat the whole time, also it can be a little boring. So I want to say from the creative side also, make sure you're listening to the whole thing. It's clear, it's not complicated, but it has enough contrast so that when you hear that little waterfall, you know, then they all go into a circle. So you're like, march, 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 march. When you hear the waterfall, you go waterfall, and the music goes and they're like, and they can follow the music clearly instead of giving them a monotone sound that even if it's clear, it lasts forever and then they have to count or like learn what they need to do also.
And it's important that your music has phrases in it because you can always come back to those phrases and repeat the steps so they know exactly when I hear this specific phrase in the music, I do tandu, up, down, jump. Right? Every time that comes back, I do the same moves. I think it's important also when you are spacing out your dance to be very clear in the room with where you're putting your spots or your numbers so that they have clear directions on where to go. You can't have them all in one line and be like, okay, let's all gallop backwards, because they're going to be like, where's backwards? What do you mean? So you could, for instance, or probably dealing with like colors or shapes, you could put all purple dots at the front and say, okay, turn your belly buttons to the clock wall. So everyone jumps to the clock wall, and then you have a whole row of stars in the back and say, okay, everyone gallop to your star in the back. So they're all gonna gallop to the stars. So they know spatially within the room where they're supposed to move their bodies, you know?
Another super fun and easy thing that you can do with the little ones is kind of give specific names to the steps you are using, or sometimes I would do an entire story in my choreography. So I would be, so we are little mice and we're coming out and we're curious, and then we need to find something at the top of the fridge, at the bottom of the, you know, at the floor, on the floor, at the top of the fridge, at the bottom of the floor, at the bottom. And so every exercise, I mean every movement that you're doing, or it can be, now we're gonna go to rainbow. So it's the same thing. It's like rainbow, 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 rainbow. How many rainbows are we doing? 5, and they know that, and they know what a rainbow was, and then it's a move, and it's a porte-bras, yes, but they're little, and so you use all of these specific things so that you can clearly and quickly and easily put this choreography in their little brains, and then they have fun, and then they can remember it with like visuals or funny names, with clear music, with the spots, so that you can, if you wanted to make like an intricate movement, so you're like ahead of it and setting up like Lee was saying.
I think it's also important that you don't add steps that you're not practicing in class. Don't decide, oh, now in this dance I want to add in a huge trick that they have no idea how to do. You know, it should be steps that you are consistently working on, that they are just applying to different music, and maybe only a few formation changes where they do those steps that you do in class. And very simple formation changes, right? Like line to a circle, or line to 3 circles, or find a partner. You can't get too intricate with your formations because, again, navigating the space for a little one is very challenging.
Yes. So it's twofold. I think you don't have to stay in 2 lines, so don't be afraid to move out of the 2 lines so that you make your choreography more exciting, and then the parents are like, what? They can do all of that? And you're like, yes, they can. And so don't be afraid of moving out of the 2 lines, but don't go crazy. And so if you're very clear with the transitions, you can be very strategic, and you can start in a little clump and then move them out into the 2 lines. Those 2 lines switch sides, and then you do a big circle, and then the clump, right? So in their brains is just like 3 places where they need to go, and it's not very complicated. But then your choreo is also not boring, because we do see a lot of this in the dance world. The little ones is just very simple steps and very simple choreo where they're just in the 2 lines and then they leave. And also don't be afraid. They learn it so well if you follow this tips and then you try them and you like pace yourself and let them learn it. Oh, I want to say about not burning them in the classroom. Then you can leave them on their own, 4 years old, and you're like just on the side, and they do the whole thing on their own, 3 years old, and the teacher doesn't have to be in front of them. They sometimes don't need an older dancer. It's incredible what those little ones can do. You just need to be really smart about how you're presenting it to them so that their little brains can get it. And so what we do also at the studio is, because they're little, you cannot rehearse them like you rehearse the older kids. You can't be like, again, that was loud cleaning. So you, first I think, what I would do is like you have your class and you start choreo. Then when you're getting close to the show, if you have your full dance done, sometimes you can bring it to the top of the class so that they're fresh and happy. You do it 3 times. That's what you're getting, and then you need to move on and do something else in class, because if not, it gets boring and so exhausting.
Right, and I think to that point, it's doing our class, and then the last 10 minutes, I'll take 5 minutes to add on a new step to our choreography. So we're building and building and building, and they are repetitiously repeating the choreography without getting burned, you know?
Yes, and something that you do, because we've talked about the fact that Lee does games and I do imagination. So it's the same thing. My choreos are a whole story, crazy story, but they learn it and they lay this storyline, and so they can learn the choreo. But she sometimes does games from memory. And so it depends on the age, but she'll quiz them through kind of like a game situation where it doesn't feel like they're put on a test, where it's stressful, and if they don't know the answer, there's something's gonna happen to them. But if you bring the fun into the learning of a choreo, which is, memory of a minute and a half, which can be a lot for a little one, I think you'll see how fun it is for you and for them.
Yeah, so around age 9, I do last dancer standing. So as they do their choreography, if I see they make a mistake, and the more we do it, the more challenging it gets, and you get really into the technical aspects. But at the beginning, it's like, wrong arm, Betty, sit down. And so we do that until eventually there's only 1 dancer or no dancers or 5 dancers standing, and they just get so excited to kind of like be that last dancer standing. They don't want to make any mistakes, and then you'll see that your dance has sort of started to clean itself magically, without having to, harp on them too much.
Yeah, where they feel tired and you feel frustrated. Yeah.
All right, that's all from us today. We are Dance Teacher Potential again. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. If you have anything you want us to talk about, please feel free to let us know. We are more than welcome for suggestions. And that's all. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.